Mickelson is no longer a member at a golf club. He's banned. A woman who works there accused him of inappropriate conduct.
I would say to everyone that has lost loved ones,
and this and that, he did it completely wrong. I don't know how he could have done it more wrong.
You and your wife have been on the record. You talk about how you kind of learn to control your temper on the course thanks to her.
Apologize to anybody?
No.
He's gone. He's gone.
Let me ask you this.
He got nothing. He got nothing.
When Pat Perez took to live broadcasts and sports media interviews with a raw hostility that stunned the sports world, it was not just another petty rivalry playing out in front of cameras. It was the explosive climax of a decade-long secret finally tearing through the pristine facade of one of golf's biggest icons. For years, subtle warnings had been dropped in public, but nobody paid attention until the dam completely broke. Right as public photos surfaced showing Amy Mickelson without her wedding ring after 35 years of marriage, Pat Perez stepped up to deliver a devastating public humiliation, validating years of rumors about a man who had completely lost his grip on reality. The image of the ultimate fan favorite family-first legend collapsed in a matter of days, leaving fans scrambling to understand how a superstar who seemed to have it all could end up utterly isolated, exposed, and stripped of everything he spent a lifetime building. To truly understand the depth of this collapse, you have to look at the psychological illusion that held the sports world captive for over 3 decades. Phil Mickelson was not merely a successful athlete, he was carefully packaged as the wholesome, approachable counterweight to Tiger Woods. He was the smiling icon who spent extra hours signing autographs, giving high fives to kids along the gallery ropes, and projecting the image of a devoted family man who prioritized his home life above all else. Millions of fans invested their emotional energy into his legendary career, completely blind to the reality that the same high-risk, impulsive personality traits that made his play on the golf course so thrilling were secretly wreaking havoc behind closed doors. Behind that warm public smile lay a world defined by reckless financial wagers, secret hideaways, and a growing sense of invincibility that convinced him he could operate entirely outside the rules of normal society. The turning point that transformed quiet club gossip into a full-scale public reckoning began when Ashley Perez, the ex-wife of fellow professional golfer Pat Perez, decided to go on the record with chilling details about what transpired during a tournament gathering back in 2015. According to her account, while staying at a luxury villa during an event in New Jersey, she was sitting on a balcony drinking wine when her husband briefly stepped away. In that short window, Mickelson pulled out his smartphone and displayed an explicit, highly inappropriate full-body photo of himself while making an undeniable late-night proposition. Ashley chose not to escalate the situation immediately that night to avoid creating chaos during an active tournament, but she informed her husband as soon as the event concluded. The incident sent shockwaves through their personal circle, leading to a recorded 26-minute confrontation call where a tearful apology was offered, proving that the event was far from a misunderstanding. For years, Pat Perez carried the weight of that betrayal, dropping intense, unfiltered comments on sports broadcasts that left fans bewildered.
You and your wife have been on the record. You talk about how you kind of learn to control your temper on the course thanks to her.
In interviews that are now circulating with millions of views, Perez openly declared that he harbored a unique, intense hatred for Phil, stating bluntly that Phil had crossed an uncrossable and unforgivable line.
And this and that, he did it completely wrong. I don't know how he could have done it more wrong. Apologize to anybody? No. He's gone. He's gone.
Let me ask you this.
He got nothing. He got nothing.
The Saudis are pissed at you. The PGA Tour is pissed at you. And now the players.
Now the players.
You get not just players, but like the top players are pissed at you.
At the time, commentators dismissed it as standard tour friction or simple personal animosity, but Perez's refusal to back down was a tactical attempt to warn the public about what lay beneath the Golden Boy's persona. When full investigative disclosures hit the press in mid-2026, Perez's past comments took on a chilling new meaning. On live media appearances and sports panels, the story was broken wide open, effectively humiliating Mickelson in front of the entire sports universe and demonstrating that no amount of wealth or fame could shield him from his past actions. While the public call-out stripped away his standing among his peers, it was the shift at home that delivered the ultimate emotional blow. For 35 years, Amy Mickelson had been viewed as the unshakable rock of his life, standing beside him through health battles, massive public gambling scandals, and endless media storms. In the immediate aftermath of the newest allegations, official representatives released polished PR statements claiming Amy was standing by her husband with extraordinary grace and unwavering devotion. But that carefully scripted narrative disintegrated in an instant when public photographs captured Amy shopping with her daughter, her hand noticeably bare without her wedding ring. In high-profile celebrity culture, the removal of a wedding ring after decades of marriage is a quiet yet undeniable declaration. It signaled to the world that the quiet endurance was over, and that the woman who had protected his legacy for so long was finally stepping away. As details of their personal separation began to emerge, details about his private life outside the marriage painted an astonishing picture of deception. Among the most shocking revelations was his private retreat inside the ultra-exclusive Madison Club in Palm Springs, billed as a quiet spot to practice. The dimly lit clubhouse condominium, adorned with dark leather furniture and wall-to-wall career trophies, was secretly used to host overnight female guests while his family was nowhere near the property. When Amy uncovered the true nature of this retreat, she did not wait for crisis management teams or lawyers to intervene. In a swift, decisive move, she personally contacted the club's wealth management representatives and demanded that his membership be revoked immediately. The man who had spent a career navigating the world's most pressure-packed sports environments was summarily ejected from his own sanctuary by his wife. What makes this downfall so psychologically fascinating to the public is not just the impulse control issues, but the elaborate methodical systems created to sustain a double life. At another elite country club, the Bridges in Rancho Santa Fe, staff members discovered an operational trick that sent shockwaves through social media to make his family and team believe he was spending long hours practicing on the course. Mickelson allegedly paid a golf cart attendant $500 an afternoon to carry his personal smartphone around the 18 holes. For hours, live location tracking apps showed his phone moving steadily from tee to green, generating a digital alibi while he secretly slipped away for unauthorized meetings elsewhere. This single detail destroyed any remaining defense that his actions were mere heat-of-the-moment lapses in judgment, revealing instead a cold, calculated strategy designed to deceive those who trusted him most. The physical breaking point on the golf course occurred shortly after at the Farms Golf Club in Rancho Santa Fe, a venue where he had practiced for decades. During a routine visit, a female staff member reported that Mickelson made non-consensual and highly inappropriate physical contact with her inside the clubhouse. The club's leadership did not hesitate or attempt to cover up the incident out of respect for his status. Instead, club officials walked directly onto the course mid-round, intercepted him while he was playing, and ordered him to leave the premises immediately. Within days, his long-standing membership was officially terminated, and a prominent display celebrating his career achievements was quietly stripped from the clubhouse walls.
Mickelson is no longer a member at a golf club. He's banned. A woman who works there accused him of inappropriate conduct.
I would say to everyone that has lost loved ones, lost friends.
As well as I do, when you're famous, you can get away with a lot, and sometimes your ego does get inflated. You see the tagline, Phil hits the rough here.
As I said yesterday in the press conference, any PGA Tour matters I'm not going to discuss publicly at this time.
Being escorted off a course in broad daylight sent an unmistakable message. The era of special treatment was officially over. The personal and social unraveling immediately translated into a catastrophic professional disappearance. For the first time in his entire multi-decade career, Phil Mickelson failed to play in a single major championship in a calendar year. He abruptly withdrew from the Masters, missed the PGA Championship as his former winner exemption silently expired, skipped the U.S. Open, and pulled out of the Open Championship. Official statements vaguely cited an ongoing private family health matter, but as weeks turned into months, his absence from international tour stops in Riyadh and Adelaide only deepened public skepticism.
Man, can I get the cart girl's number here? Ooh, does the cart girl really think, is she into me at this point? Their job is to get you to give them extra tips here.
A lot of these things have, these carts have cameras on them. I think we got to give Phil the benefit of the doubt.
The sports community watched in real time as one of the most recognizable figures in modern athletics vanished from competitive play entirely, replaced by a wall of silence and mounting legal speculation. Underneath all of these behavioral scandals lay a staggering financial structure that had been fracturing for years. Former federal investigations and insider reports revealed a gambling habit of astronomical proportions, with estimated lifetime wagers exceeding $1 billion and total net losses ranging between $40 and $100 million. Years earlier, his desperate need to clear massive gambling debts even linked him to a federal insider trading case involving a prominent sports bettor, forcing him to repay nearly $1 million in profits. Though he later published public statements describing his gambling as a destructive hurricane that consumed his life, the financial strain continuously pressed upon his personal relationships. The relentless cycle of debt, pressure, and risk-taking created an environment where boundaries blurred, trust eroded, and long-term stability became impossible. In the corporate corridors of professional golf, his standing was eroding just as fast. Long before these latest personal revelations dominated headlines, tension had been boiling over between Mickelson and top tour executives regarding major schedule overhauls, player exemptions, and league finances. High-stakes summit meetings frequently descended into heated arguments as he pushed aggressively for structural changes that many felt served his own interests. But as sponsor after sponsor pulled away and executive patience ran out, his political leverage within the sport vanished completely. The very industry that once spent decades celebrating his charisma and accommodating his demands began actively restructuring its future without him, leaving him isolated from the institutions that had fueled his global fame. When you analyze this fall from a human psychology perspective, it provides a sobering case study in what happens when unchecked privilege and extreme narcissism run out of runway. For 30 years, public adulation and immense wealth created a protective bubble that allowed bad behavior to be rationalized, hidden, or excused. But human retention of respect is fragile. Once the curtain is pulled back and a pattern of calculated deceit is revealed, the public's perception flips instantly. It was not a single mistake that brought down golf's most famous smile. It was the cumulative weight of dozens of deliberate choices, hidden retreats, paid alibis, and broken promises catching up all at once. Ultimately, the story of Phil Mickelson is no longer about major championships, dramatic shots, or sports legacy. It is the story of a man who built a complex double life, convinced that his status rendered him untouchable, only to watch it crumble when courageous voices spoke the truth and those closest to him walked away. From public confrontations on live broadcasts to quiet exits from elite country clubs, the fall has been absolute and irreversible. What remains is a cautionary tale of how quickly decades of glory can turn into total ruin when accountability finally arrives. That's it for today, folks. See you in the next video.